Welcome to Tieu_audio, where every story touches the soul. Today, we're diving into a heartfelt journey, a tale of resilience, hidden pain, and the quiet strength of a girl chasing her dream against all odds. In the warmth of a small bakery and the scent of freshly baked bread, you'll uncover not just the flavors of life, but the pieces of a past once forgotten. Let's begin. In a quiet corner of the city, where the first morning light filters gently through the leaves, a small bakery named Tieu, the Wind's Bakery, had just opened its wooden door for the first time. A simple wooden sign swayed softly in the morning breeze, and behind that door stood a young woman with bright eyes and a gentle smile, Tieu. But behind that smile was a heart carrying deep, unspoken wounds. Tieu didn't grow up in a warm, loving home. Her mother had passed away when she was just a child. Her father, a cold and distant man, rarely showed her any affection. In their house, silence spoke louder than words, and harsh rules replaced the comfort of hugs and lullabies. But amid all the emptiness, one thing remained: her love for baking. As a little girl, Tieu often snuck into the kitchen on nights when her father worked late. She would play with flour, butter, and eggs. Her early attempts were always burnt, misshapen, barely edible. But in her eyes was a spark, a joy that lit up her whole world. The kitchen, messy and warm, became her only sanctuary, a place where she could dream, where she felt alive. Years passed. Life pushed her into the corporate world, and at 25, she was working hard in a finance company. The office was suffocating, her daily routine repetitive. But the dream, that soft, distant dream of having a bakery, never faded. One day, Tieu made the decision to quit. She knew it was risky, knew her father would never support it. And she was right. Her father was furious, accusing her of destroying the future he had built for her. In his eyes, she was throwing everything away. But for Tieu, it was the first step toward truly living. With her modest savings, she rented an old house tucked into an alley of the ancient town. It was dusty, broken, and far from ideal, but it was hers. She cleaned it, fixed every corner herself, laid tiles, repaired shelves, even hand-sanded the wooden countertop. Every morning, she would wake up before the sun, knead dough with trembling hands, and place warm, freshly baked pastries on the shelf. She was scared, unsure if anyone would come, but she was happy. At first, curious strangers walked in, drawn by the aroma. Some stayed, not just for the pastries but for the genuine warmth in the air. Slowly, the place came alive. Yet behind every batch of cookies, every perfectly browned crust, there were memories she never dared to speak of, memories of her mother, and secrets long buried. One rainy afternoon, as Tieu was rearranging the cookies in the display, she found an old photograph tucked inside a recipe book, a picture of her mother holding her as a baby. Behind the photo was a handwritten note she had never seen before. It read, "For my sweet Tieu. One day, may you find peace in the smell of baked bread." Her hands trembled. Tears fell. She had never known her mother wrote this. It was the first time in years that she allowed herself to cry, to truly feel the longing she had buried under years of silence. From that moment on, her bakery became more than a dream. It became a bridge between past and present, a place of healing. Each cake, each tart, was not just a product, it was a piece of her heart, a way to remember and reclaim what she had lost. But the story didn't end there. One day, a man in his 60s stood at the door. He was tall, stern, unmistakably her father. His hair was grayer, his eyes tired, but the coldness in his expression remained. He didn't step in, just stared through the glass. Tieu froze. She hadn't spoken to him in years. So many things unsaid, so much hurt between them. But before she could speak, he quietly turned away. That night, Tieu couldn't sleep. She kept thinking of her father's eyes. There was something different in them. Was it regret? Was it sadness? The next morning, she left a small bag outside the shop, with 2 pieces of his favorite pastry, the one her mother used to make. She didn't leave a note. For a week, she saw nothing. Then, one morning, the bag was gone, and in its place, a thermos of tea, still warm. It was the tea her father always drank. A silent reply. Days turned into weeks. The exchange continued, pastries and tea, quiet gestures between 2 people who didn't know how to speak. One evening, as she closed the bakery, her father stood at the door again. This time, he came in. He didn't say much. Just sat down and ate the pastry slowly. After a long silence, he said, "She would have been proud of you." It was the first kind word he had ever said to her. Tears welled up, but Tieu smiled. They didn't hug. They didn't cry together. But in that moment, a crack opened in the wall between them. The healing had begun. As months passed, the bakery became a little world of its own, filled with regulars who shared their stories, travelers who left notes of thanks, and children who laughed with joy. Tieu wasn't just baking, she was building something sacred. A home, not just for herself, but for anyone who needed a place to feel safe. Every morning, as the scent of butter and cinnamon filled the air, Tieu would whisper a silent prayer to her mother, for strength, for guidance, for peace. And every night, she'd look around her little shop, full of warmth and light, and feel something she had never known before, a quiet, steady happiness. She had chased a dream, yes. But more than that, she had found herself. And in the heart of the old town, where the wind danced gently through the alleyways, Tieu's bakery stood as a gentle reminder that healing takes time, that love can grow in silence, and that sometimes, the smallest dreams hold the biggest truths. Thank you for watching and joining us on this emotional journey. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Tieu_audio, where we breathe life into every word, and every whisper carries a story. Until next time, may your heart always find peace in the smallest moments. See you in the next story.